Hey everyone, Dana here, talking with some of my German friends who have visited the US, and even more so the friends who have driven a car in the US. I've realized there are some things that have really shocked some of my German friends about driving in the US. And in this video, a few of them now. Damaged cars. First of all, the state of many cars in the US has shocked many of my German friends. And I have to say, I was actually kind of shocked by this the other way around coming here to Germany. In Germany, I would say like 99% of the cars that I see on the road are in pretty freaking amazing condition. Whereas in the US, my German friends have been pretty shocked by how many cars they've seen in the US with duct tape, holding something together, the bumper, the exhaust pipe, the mirror on the side of the car, or seeing cars with huge rust areas on them, cars with big dents in them. Yeah, those are things that you won't really see on cars in Germany, and it shocked my friends that that's pretty common in the US. Road conditions. While we're on the state of things, the road conditions in the US have also shocked many of my German friends. Now, obviously, there are lots of perfectly fine and even really great roads in the US, no question about that. But it has really surprised and shocked my German friends to see that there are so many roads in the US that are definitely not as smooth, not as well maintained as many of the roads in Germany. For example, roads with potholes in them, lots of cracks in them, uneven surfaces. And for me, growing up in the US, roads like that were just kind of something that was normal for me to see sometimes, I just thought that that was pretty normal wear and tear on roads. But yeah, in Germany, I have noticed that a lot of the roads here are in better condition than that. Four-way stops. I can still remember the first time that Stefan and I got to a four-way stop in the US, and he was pretty shocked to learn how it works. Okay, so maybe this is not the case everywhere in the US. I have no idea. Driving rules can vary from state to state in the US, but this is the way that I learned to deal with four-way stops in the US, and this is what has shocked many of my German friends. Okay, so you come up to a four-way stop, and who gets to go first? Why, the car that got to the four-way stop first, of course. Yes, that's right. I learned that it's first come, first served at a four-way stop, and that has super duper shocked my German friends. If I got to a four-way stop and I didn't know who had gotten there first, then I did learn it's the car to the right that gets to go first. But yeah, sometimes in the US at four-way stops, I did have to signal with other drivers like, you can go. Yeah, sometimes I did have to interact with the other drivers at the four-way stops in the US. People living in the US, is this how four-way stops work where you live? Is this how you learned it? Viewers outside of the US, has this shocked you when driving in America? How are four-way stops handled where you live? Let me know down in the comments. Driving age. The exact age that you can start driving differs from state to state in the US, but I would say for the most part, people can start driving at a younger age in the US than in Germany. I, for example, started driving in the US at age 15. That's when I got my learner's permit, and then I practiced driving with my parents in the car for a year. And then after that, at age 16, I could take the test to get my driver's license. Whereas in Germany, I think you have to be 18 to start driving, right? Let me know down in the comments. But yeah, I would say that's a pretty big difference. Passing on the right. This one still shocks Stefan every time that we drive in the US on big multi-lane highways, those highways with a bunch of different lanes. And I've heard from a lot of other German friends that it shocks them too. Passing on the right. Again, road rules vary from state to state in the US, so in some places in the US, this might not be allowed. But whether it's allowed or not, in the US, it is something that happens. From my experience driving on the highway in the US, I have experienced people passing on the left, on the right, and yeah, this has really shocked a lot of my German friends. In Germany, people pass on the left. The price of gas and the price of gasoline has also shocked a lot of my German friends. Obviously, gas prices differ around the country in the US, but in most places in the US, I would say gas is way cheaper than in Germany. And Stefan was also really shocked by that, how cheap the gas was the first time that he came with me to the US. So my question for you is, what has shocked you about driving in the US, in Germany, or in any other countries around the world? Please let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe for new videos and hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. And a really big thank you so much to our patrons on Patreon who help make these videos possible. Thank you so much for your support. If you would like to check out our Patreon page, you can find a link to that down in the description box below. Until next time, auf Wiedersehen!